Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm John David. Going to be talking about three different areas of writing today. Firstly, I'm going to be talking about a question that I get asked a lot, especially when people see how many books I've written in such a short amount of time, relatively speaking. The question always is, how do you find the time? I get asked that a lot. How do you find the time to write so much? Where does the time come from? Because we know you're busy doing other things. So where do you even get the time for writing? And I always answer the question the same way. It's not about time. It's never about having enough time. It's about having the right energy to write the book. If you've got the right energy, time isn't important. And if you don't have the energy to do it, you can waste a whole lot of time writing absolutely nothing, struggling on a chapter. And that's how I look at it. I always answer like that. It's never about time, it's only ever about energy. And then the next question would be, well, what if you don't have the energy? Well, don't write. There's times where I don't feel like I have the energy to write, so I don't write. I don't try to write if I don't feel it. If you follow these simple rules, don't worry about time. Don't think, I need 5 years to write this 120,000 word novel. Don't think like that, because I've wrote 80,000 word novels in 5 weeks, 5 days. A Negative Linear was written in 5 weeks, 5 days, from start to finish, character, plot, everything. And it's about having the energy to do it. The energy was there. It was coming through onto the page, thick and fast. And that's how it should happen. It's not about time. You don't have to worry about time. And then there's other books like Quantum Verse that took me 12 months from concept to writing to editing. It took me 12 months to write it, so it took longer. But again, the energy was there to do it. If I didn't feel the energy to do it, then I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't just bash out words for the sake of words. You're going to end up with nothing. You're going to end up frustrated. You're going to end up with no book and a load of time wasted. So wait until you feel it. If you don't feel it, don't write it. When you do feel it, write it. And what you tend to find is once you start writing and you have that feeling to write, the feeling stays with you then until the end of the project. That's what I find, and that's what a lot of writers find. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to talk about was word count. At my first book launch for a novel, that was my 9th book in total, because the earlier books were all to do with self-development, but my first novel that I wrote, which felt really strange because I didn't intend to write a story, a novel. I didn't even know how to go about doing that, but as I started to express myself through words, a novel just came out. That's how it happened, so I didn't fight it, never fight it, just go with it. Go with the flow of the creativity that's coming through, the muse that's talking to you. And at the book launch, it's a good book launch, I really remember it well. It was a lot of people came, and the book itself caused a debate that was like the big question, the Sunday morning programme where you've got people with opposing views, and we were caught in the middle of it. And it was really good, actually. It was a very creative evening. But I was signing copies of my book, and one of the ladies that came along said, I'm writing my first novel. How many words is Negative Linear? And I looked at her and I did not know. I didn't know. I didn't even look at how many words it was. And I said, oh gosh, I really don't know. I don't know the word count. Is that important? And she says, oh gosh, well, I write a chapter and then I see how many words I've written and I think, oh gosh, I've got so many more words to write by the end of the week, and it's all becoming a bit of a chore. And I said, have you thought about not even looking at the word count, and the book is finished when it's finished? Whether it's 30,000 words or whether it's 120,000 words, it's finished when it's finished. It's finished when the story the truth that you're speaking into the story has unfolded and told its story. It's not over when you've hit a certain amount of words. And I think that's important. I do look at word count now from time to time as I'm working through a book, but it's not important to the overall finished project. Word count is insignificant. The book, the project is finished when it's finished, and it's however many words it is. Okay, so don't worry too much about word count. As I say, with my first novel, I didn't even know how many words I'd written. You can't get fixated on word count and get all frustrated thinking I've got to write so many words a week, because that's going to stifle the creativity coming through. Just to put this into perspective, some of the most famous novels in history, things like Animal Farm, things like H.G. Wells's Time Machine, The Martian Chronicles. These are books famous to me as I was growing up. These weren't big books. They're only, I think Animal Farm is 100 pages, and H.G. Wells's Time Machine isn't much larger. So again, don't worry about the duration of your book, of your story, of your novel. Just worry about content, because we come back to that writing words for the sake of writing words. There's no point in writing words for the sake of writing words. That's, for example, it's no good just having two people chatting across the table in your book and it's conversation here and there, and it's just about stuff that's happening in their lives. That conversation is not important if it's not pulling you through the story. If it's just literally trivia, then it's conversation rather than dialogue, and we can get onto that maybe in another episode. If it's not dialogue, if it's just wishy-washy conversation and it's not pulling you through the book, helping you to understand the characters, the environment, and pulling you through the story, then it doesn't need to be there. So words for the sake of words never works. You know, there has to be a point to what you're writing. So again, don't worry about word count, worry about content. Don't worry about duration, the length of your book. Worry about finishing when the story has been told. Okay. And then the last point that I wanted to raise comes back to time again. Some people ask the question, when do you clock on and clock off regarding writing? For example, do you work through the day thinking about your writing, maybe making notes, but then you actually get down to the business of writing at 6 o'clock, and do you write for, say, 3 hours each evening? And that might work for some people. There's no right or wrong. However, I have to say that I don't write like that at all. Once I feel it and I'm writing it, then the book is my life and my life is the book. The real life events, your truths that are happening around you day to day, work into the novel, work into the book, and vice versa. You're living it, so you're not clocking in and clocking out. If you're feeling it and you're living it and you're writing it, your life becomes the novel and your novel becomes your life. And that sounds like a cliche, but that's really how it feels. When you're writing well, there's no separation between you and the novel. You are intrinsically in there, and the novel is intrinsically you. It is your experience of life that you're writing about. Even if it's something really fantastical, you're still there in your story on some level, in one character or in multiple characters or in all of your characters. You're there in your novel, and your novel is in you. So no clocking in and clocking out. For me personally, it can work for some people, but I feel like when I'm writing and writing well and I'm really feeling it, I'm living what I'm writing, and what I'm writing is my life. Well, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts about your experiences of writing in the comments, and I'll see you really soon. Bye for now. Thanks, guys.